A lot.
You watch a lot of what he did here versus Carolina when you preparation.
I feel like we've seen him, just because we practice against him, with OTAs, training camp, during the season. So definitely feel familiar with what he's done when he was here, but really try to focus on what he's doing in Carolina because of the different scheme they're going to try to use with him.
McCaffrey, where does he specifically stress a defense and what he does in their offense?
No, McCaffrey definitely stresses the defense everywhere. I don't care if he's running it, if he's getting out on passes, if they line him outside as a receiver. He's an elite athlete, capable of doing anything. Power, quickness, speed, all of that. So definitely got to have a plan for him.
Like Jeremiah and maybe even Grant and Jacob, just with that speed out there to go up against a guy like him.
Yeah, you want to use multiple schemes against a guy like that. Now, he didn't play a lot or play any, so you have to kind of go back. You don't know exactly how they're going to use them, but we definitely have to have multiple things to handle.
Panthers are starting a rookie left tackle, but you pretty much go into every game thinking that Miles is going to get double team, triple team, chipped, whatever else. And how do you adjust to that?
Definitely. You have to have a rush plan. He's always on the edge. They know where he's at. So we know he's good out on the edge. So you want him to do what he does well, but at the same time, you want to move him around, try to create matchups, try to make it hard on them to find him in terms of what they're trying to do with protections.
Because so go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to follow up on that. Do you think the Panthers, because he's a rookie, will approach Miles any differently than the rest of the teams you normally face?
Most of the teams have a plan for him, so we're assuming they're going to try to do something, whether they try to chip Miles, bring the protection to him, so we always have to plan for that every week.
Joe, when you think about Baker, is it possible that you can almost know too much about him and know him too well and overthink it? How are you approaching it from that standpoint?
You know what? The whole week when I talked to the defense, I know that we all know Baker. He was here for a long time, but we really treat him like any other quarterback, week to week. We weren't talking about him any different way, making it more than it is, because they have, different players. They have good receivers. They have good running back, so they're talented. So we have to worry about trying to stop everything they do, and he's just a part of it.
So then you said, does he look different to you in Carolina than what you know of him from here?
No, not really from my eyes, and I'm not out there studying quarterbacks in practice, kind of worried about the defense, trying to make adjustments. But just from general knowledge, he looks like the same guy. We know he has the arm strength. He can make all the throws. We know he has escapability in the pocket. You've seen that in the preseason. And we know that he can read defenses. So those are things that we're familiar with him being here, and those are things that have showed up with him in the preseason.
He said that last year doesn't count to him. He said that this week. I'm guessing because of the injury and some other things. So, is there a chance that some of that film from last year might not be as relevant because of the injury and that you have to kind of go back to 2020?
Yeah, we really didn't spend a lot of time. Like, everybody's familiar with him that's here. And we know his toughness. He has that warrior mentality just playing through that injury, so we know what type of guy he is. But we really spent most of our time trying to study what he did in the preseason.
The fact that you talk about the familiarity, how much time do you think about the fact that Baker knows what you like to do, he knows your personnel, and factor that into your game?
There's good things about it. There's bad things about it, and I don't know how much time he's putting into that, because things change for us, things change for them. And, if he spends time worrying about thinking we're going to do a certain thing, we do something different, then that's going to hurt him. So he's probably just going at it and, going through his key progression, just seeing what we're going to do. And we're trying to approach it the same way. Do I think about it? Yes, but at the same time, we just have to go out and execute, our defensive plan.
Do you like that Your guys are, you kind of have a little bit of a built-in motivational factor here because of some things that Baker supposedly said last week, and Miles has said we're going to use it, and Greg says we're going to use it. Is that kind of helpful?
That's them guys. I've never talked about that in our meeting. I don't try to ride like the emotional roller coaster of what's written in articles. During the season, I really don't read them. You see the headlines like, oh, he said something, but that's not something I'm worried about. That's not something I talk to the defense about. We just have to go out and play. Their whole team, Browns versus Panthers.
Jeremiah's game is built on speed and quickness and anticipation, and yet he sticks his nose in there at 2 and change, right? I don't know what he weighs exactly. How impressive is that? And then do you ever worry that he's not undersized necessarily, but maybe could stand to be a little thicker to deal with some of those offensive linemen and such?
Yeah, that's something that he knows, and we're definitely working on. I know he sees our nutritionist, just in terms of his eating habits. Because at that position, it's physical. You're taking on linemen, you're taking on backs, and he has that unique ability to kind of slip blocks. You see his explosiveness, but it's definitely something we focus on. But we like his athletic ability, and his ability to go match up in coverage, especially against a back like we're going to face this week.
I mean, can you guys look at that Pittsburgh film from game 17 or whatever, his last game in a Browns uniform last year, and take anything from what they were able to do?
No, our focus is really on just the current tape, and it's just because of offensive scheme. What are they asking him to do? What are they doing within the Coach McAdoo scheme? So that's what we really focused on.
Do they move him out on the keepers and the boots and stuff like that?
You see a little bit of it, and it's preseason. So in preseason you try to run your main plays, just so you get practice at them. Fixing techniques, things of that nature. But there's stuff that they didn't run. So for us, we have to game plan for what we saw, but at the same time, we know there's going to be, new plays.
Anthony Walker's named a starter, and Kevin said Jacob's still going to play a bunch. So how do you go about figuring out how you're going to rotate those guys?
That's what we've always done. For our 3 years here, we've always rotated, at different positions. Obviously D-line, but at linebacker, that's what we've done. So we feel comfortable with that. And really, you say 11 starters, but I feel like we have more than that. If you're out on the field, you're good enough to be a starter for us.
Certain packages for each guy, or is it just like series to series?
It's a little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both with multiple linebackers.
With Bell, to be an undrafted guy and make this team, the way you kind of took advantage of those opportunities, what does he bring to this safety group?
Versatility. He has size, he has speed. He has that 4-leaf clover. He's always around the ball. Created a lot of takeaways in the preseason. Really pays attention. He's wired in the meetings. He's really the type of guy you want to coach. I think his effort, energy he brings, the guys are always excited when he makes plays, so you can see that they're cheering for him. And I'm very excited that he made the team. He definitely earned it.
He seems to have like that ball hog tendency.
Yeah.
Does that kind of like fill the hole left? Like MJ Stewart did a lot of that for you guys last year. It
Yeah.
seemed like, does it fill that kind of hole there?
Well, there's multiple things that he does for us, but at the same time, you don't want to put too much on his plate. But he is, playing 2 or 3 positions for us right now.
Wrinkles into the defense this year that you couldn't last year because you had so many new guys and injured guys. Will we see a different brand of Joe Woods defense this year?
For sure. And that was a positive. We had more guys coming back. Our whole back seven. We had our linebacker crew, and then the defensive ends, a couple tackles. So for the first time, I felt like there was a lot of continuity in terms of guys coming back. So they have more understanding of the system, which is going to allow us to add more. We don't want to do too much, but I think there's more things that we can do this year for sure.
Last year was the biggest reason for your slow start for your group?
I think just getting familiar, because we didn't have much of an off season. I know different teams did. So I think once we went through training camp, because you see different schemes, so you're fixing different things every week, and then you get to a point where it's kind of all the same. And I felt like guys started to get comfortable. We were playing cleaner football, not making as many mistakes. I think I got better calling it and knowing that. And then I feel like we started to play more consistent defense towards the end.
What do you think Miles' mindset is heading into another season?
He's playing at another level in practice. I mean, this guy's coming off the edge 2 feet from the ground. I mean, it's impressive, and he looks like a running back playing defensive end. And I just think from a leadership standpoint, I think he's really trying to take over that role, not only vocally, but by example, what he's doing. But I definitely feel like his mindset is to be a dominant player this year. I know it always is, but it just feels different from what I saw so far in practice.
Did you notice that? Was that right away when he came back, or just
Yeah.
lately?
No, it's just you just saw a little bit of it every day, but it's just different. You know, I don't know. It's just like he has a mindset to dominate. It's just the focus. You just see it, and it's not that I'm talking to him a lot. It's just out there like, man. But definitely looking forward to him having a big season for us.
JOK specifically, you talked about last year putting more on his plate this
Yeah.
year. So what more specifically will you be asking him to do?
Yeah, and I don't, I know I get a lot of questions about JOK and everything we were doing. It's not only him. We had other young guys as well. We had new guys just in terms of free agents. And you want guys to go out and play fast and execute. And there's a lot of different things we can do schematically, but it's can you handle it? Because you only have so many reps during the course of the week to practice it. So with him, we knew he was a dynamic player, but at the same time, we didn't want to give him so much where he couldn't play fast. So he has a better understanding of the defense as well as the other guys. So there's more things we can do in terms of different blitz packages, where we're putting them. And we'll slowly do that, but we'll definitely do more with him and everybody else this year.
That he wanted to really work on his ball skills this year. Have you been able to see that develop with him taking all these reps in the slot, or did you see that before and that's why he's getting those kind of opportunities?
Yeah, he's definitely working harder in terms of getting better with his ball skills. We have an opportunity period at the end of each practice, and it's just a focus. There's different things that we do, but he's been spending a lot of time getting on the jugs, just working on his hands, catching deep balls. And to me, it's just a confidence thing. Once you get it and you have confidence in getting the ball, then they'll start coming. Starting to back up. Yep.
Was everyone for camp and then?
Yes. And it's just I always preach and make everything game-like, because, what we do is monotonous. You go out there and you do it over and over again, and boredom creeps in. So always just trying to press those guys to treat every practice like a game. So that's kind of how the Alpha Dog came about. And then, we just acknowledge who won as an individual, who won as a team, and who was the bone collector, just in terms of takeaways.
I know that was like unknown early on. Did you give them prizes?
I'm not sure, maybe.
Who won for camp?
Should I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, JOK won the Alpha Dog. Team Johnson, they were the team winners. And then DeAnthony Bell won the Bone Collector Award.
Johnson, right? Or no?
Yes.
Okay.
They were loaded.
Hey, this one, you mentioned, how do you keep practice fresh? And not have to be repetitive all the time, to keep that interest strong, if that's right.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, players being self-motivated, because it's a job for them. It's their job to go out there and practice and perform every day if they want to play at their best, and we want to play at our best. But I think the things we try to do is emphasize who we want to be as a defense, our identity. And, we want to be a team that takes away the ball. We want to be a team that plays with relentless effort. So those are the things that we preach. And then as we evaluate practice, that's where I'll go in and I'll talk to the team and I'll show them clips from practice where I feel like we're doing things really well in areas that we need to improve. And just always trying to keep that pressure on them just to perform at their highest level every day. Just whoever led us in takeaways. Yeah. So just it's something I did everywhere I went. Just changed the name a little bit. Yeah. The bone, as I say, the bone collector.